What do you think about the phrase, the irony of the phrase fat acceptance when they are the most ruthless motherfuckers? The same thing with the posting, like they're blocking. Talk about that, because you're getting, I don't think anyone else knows this. We didn't talk about this yet. You're getting harassed. John, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is getting harassed online. So yeah, go into that, man, because for accepting people, it's not too accepting.
That blows my mind. That page. So it's this page. It was called Boycott Fatopia. So they started this page after that film came out, right? And in their eyes, they feel like Fatopia, I don't know, it hurt their feelings. It made them upset. So they started this page. Basically, I think the start of the page was like they were trying to discredit maybe the director of the film, the people that actually worked on it. But then once me, Michelle, Alan were making videos about it, they started directing that hate towards us. And they've called me fat phobic. They've called me basically like a white supremacist. They've called me
John the
like toxic because I post before and afters. And then they called me, this one I have never heard. They said X fats are the worst fats. So now it's weird because the whole thing with a lot of the body positivity and health at every size is they don't want to be just looked at for their size. But then being called an X fat is like everything about this guy is because he's no longer fat. It just it blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. And then so now it's honestly, like they just seem like a huge troll account. Like it really does. Some of the stuff they're posting doesn't even seem real. So now I'm just they're stating that me, Alan, and Michelle, basically anyone who's come out and said, "Oh, I like the film. I think it's interesting," has been paid off and has the director has reached out to us and given us payment to promote the film. 100% not true. I think his name's Connor. He messaged me before the film was already made. He messaged me a few weeks before it was about to come out. I was like, "Hey, I have a film coming out. I would love for you to promote it." And I said to him, I was like, "I'll watch it, and then if I like it, I'll promote it."
That's why I said, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit there and be like, "Oh, I hate this film, don't watch it." But I was like, if I like it, I'll say something about it, And that's what ended up happening. But yeah, it's definitely, it's interesting in that the community of acceptance, it seems like it's more about taking some other people out of the movement. Like I said, there's those messages I get of people that felt like they were kicked out because they were no longer almost big enough, or the fact that they had lost weight. And then it goes back to that whole, I think we talked about in the last podcast that we were all on, that whole like the fatness spectrum. And there is like a small fat, medium fat, infinifat, right? And it was, the whole thing was, that one was based on clothing, but I guess when you dig a little bit deeper, it's supposed to be, you can't, as a mid-fat, say you understand what an infinifat has been through. And so I get that argument a lot now too, is like, well, you've had your experience, but you don't know what it's like for XYZ. I'm like, I'm not stating that. All I am stating is that I was morbidly obese and my quality of life was affected because of it,
That's that super, like, who's holier than thou. And this type of movement, and for those of you that don't, I find history fascinating because it repeats itself, and human beings are notorious for forgetting history, and we forget what real tragedy is. We didn't live through World War II or World War I or the Vietnam War. Like, none of us most people listening to this and watching this weren't alive for those real tragedies. We remember September 11th and things that we maybe have like some kind of like perspective on, but there's real shit that goes on in the world, and to play the victim, the only people that it marginalizes are marginalized people that actually have real fucking struggle. And especially when these struggles are, where these struggles are made up, and rather than put in the work, you're going to complain and demonize other people. So if you have someone who's a mid-fat and you're saying, well, the infinifat people, well, you don't know what it's like to be, no, and good. I don't want to be infinifat. If you're calling yourself infinifat, you're not going to be infinifat for long. You're going to be infinite dead. And that's what
It's
happens
true, man.
because everyone, and then it gets, but then that's where the segmentation comes into play. And that's why it's a really hard movement, not just the fat acceptance or healthy at every size, but it's all these different oppressed groups. And then it goes back to the demonetization and then the LGBT and all these other issues that are literally chopped up into such tiny little pieces that you can't separate any one of them. So if you cross over, if again, it's called intersectionality, if you cross over more of these little subsects, you can't even address the issue, because where does the issue even start? It's not even about the issue itself. It's about where, like, the psychological state of mind that would take the victim status. It's that lack of accountability, the lack of responsibility, and just literally the entitlement to having it your way and not having to improve yourself and feeling that you deserve things that you don't deserve. You're given things, you're given too many opportunities, or you have your life too cushioned. You have a supermarket down the street, you have running water. These are all little subtle things that we don't have any of those issues here in this country. We just don't have those basic struggles that a lot of people deal with. And I think on a human, like an evolutionary level, the fact that we don't have to go and get water from somewhere, I don't know what it is, but I feel like even those little things, not that I want to, I mean, it's great to have water, just, oh, turn on water. But I feel like even just those simple little subtle things just takes away some part of our DNA that is like essential to like being, I don't want to say the word hard, but like, I guess a little bit more resilient, the resilience of the human species. Thanks for watching, fam. Make sure to subscribe to the Daily Swole podcast on YouTube so you can catch the live streams every single day.